And here we go, AKAPADers. We gonna get right to it. Happy Saturday, by the way. Stephen King. I cannot follow Stephen King on any social media platform. Serious TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And that doesn't even mean you have to like Trump or not, or politics. It just means, can we just have you talk about all your amazing stories and your amazing work ethic and how you make a son that's a equally good writer. Like, well, what are your secrets, Stephen King? Well, what are your secrets to the universe so we can all learn from you? But we don't get that, so I don't follow him. Stephen King, probably at this point the greatest fictional writer of all time. I love the idea that we're finally getting like regular good Stephen King movies and miniseries, and Netflix is doing this and HBO's doing that. Like all of this stuff. I like that it is spinning off into an HBO Max series. I think that's such a great idea. This interconnected Stephen King universe that really stems out of, here we go, Dark Tower, everything you've been looking at over here. But why is this edition of, why are we talk Dark Tower 5, something wolves, right? We're not here to talk about that. We're here. I just bought this book. I bought it for a couple of dollars. It was at a used bookstore, and it blew my freaking mind. It also opened this other door. Stephen King, the written word, he has a visual collaborator throughout that guy's whole career. Bernie Wrightson, R.I.P. But Bernie Wrightson did a lot of work with Stephen King. And I didn't know that there was an edition of Dark Tower. I believe it might be all of them. So we got some work to do on this channel. But this is the first one. But Bernie Wrightson paints and illustrates and brings to life parts of Dark Tower 5 in the very book. So it's not just pen and ink drawings. We're doing, they're full paintings, full illustrations. And we get so much of like the Bernie, like the Wrightson methods and just the way how he breaks up the atmosphere. And his wrinkles. I love the Wrightson wrinkles. So, Stephen King, Bernie Wrightson, Dark Tower 5, something. I wish I could talk to you a little bit more about Dark. Yeah, here, quick thing about Dark Tower. Ben Jackendoff, a.k.a. he writes for Marvel now, but I know him from back in the day. He did like a Will.i.am comic and I believe like a Spider-Man book. Great dude, by the way. Like, we used to text a lot. But, I'm not name dropping. But he lent me Dark Tower. And I've tried reading Dark Tower at least 3 times. And every single time I got a little bit further into it. And it's a light read. It's a quick read. I just couldn't, I couldn't be all gassed with the Dark Tower 1. So many people say this is like not only Stephen King's opus, but one of the great fantasy works of all time. I believe it's there. There's so many things I hear that stem out of Dark Tower. So I do want to read them. I do want to get these other editions. I do want to get into the Wrightson Stephen King collab. But I feel like if I read the books, we can I can contextualize the pieces a little bit better. So maybe all that's going to come. But today I just wanted to hang out with you guys and share some amazing artwork that I know so many comic fans don't discuss. They don't talk about this. And they should. So let's go. There it is, AKAPAD. Stephen King can write a book. I mean, this sucker is so meaty. But yeah, I picked this up at the used bookstore. And I guess I should have picked up on the signature, Bernie Wrightson. I don't have a lot of Bernie Wrightson in my comic book library, in my regular book library. I don't know what you call it, but overall, in all my books, in anything that's stapled or glue bound or hardback, I don't have a lot of Bernie Wrightson. I even noticed on the cover, his signature is right here. The art style, I didn't identify this either as Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson, there's a Silver Bullet movie
I believe he did the pen and ink drawings for that. I'm pretty sure he did artwork for Creepshow that Stephen King wrote the screenplay for. And there's probably other things along the way that I'm not familiar with. So there's already somewhat of a legacy. There's a collaboration between these two. Let me get in. Look, the Wolves of Kala, illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. So we can say, yeah, Bernie Wrightson illustrated this feather. And look at the bibliography of Stephen King. I think I'm productive. I think I do things. I guess I am. On the back, we have young Stephen King, old Stephen King. So I picked this up, and it was really just kind of like this right here. The back page opens right up to it. So in the intro, I mentioned Bernie Wrightson's ability to... He's great with atmosphere. And by atmosphere, I'm not particularly talking about like the mood of the piece, like the atmosphere of the piece. I'm talking about the physical atmosphere that he recreates inside of his pieces. Meaning, see, we have atmosphere here that's breaking up what the edges would be. The edges of the shirt. We have a couple, I guess he's, we don't know where he is, but these look like rails or pylons, of a structure, like maybe holding up a wall. We don't know. And he's between them. So we get I love this little chunk here. But he illustrates the atmosphere within his pieces, and that does two things. It makes it more readable to the eye. So we might call that makes it more realistic, because things do break up in atmosphere. And the other thing it does, it makes it more digestible. Because to draw things to the edges and to draw things clear, it takes more time. It's not economical when you have a deadline. You have to have shortcuts. You have to find shortcuts. So as an illustrator, you have to be able to digest where we put our time in. And he wanted our focus to be here. So atmosphere, atmosphere, atmosphere. And he does that a lot with these pieces. I can't speak of the characters. I don't know what's happening. We have a guy here with a 6-shooter blowing the head off of a robot thing. Atmosphere, though, right? See how the black shadows go right into the horizon line of the grass? He's finding a way to paint things to the edge with these silhouettes. But, right, he doesn't have to draw the robot foot. He doesn't have to draw the foot of the gunman here, right? It's perfectly well done. It's well done for being on the deadline, and it's well done for being pleasing to the eye. I mean, the detail here, though. Really nice stuff. I mean, I'm not sure what creature this is. I hope that's not a fox. This looks like a corgi fox. I was just literally at the bookstore, just blown away. Again, see, we don't paint to the edge. We don't paint to the bottom. It saves time. Nice blue highlight here. I love the shadow of the trees on the fence here. We're going backwards because I don't know enough about the story to bring you through it. But I loved this guy's face here. Again, the light comes from below. It's reflecting here to the side. And then it's just heavy shadow center and to the left. Even here, see how these hands are just silhouetted? Silhouetted with minimum detail. This is nuts. I love the mechanical arm here. It's like a wolf Doctor Doom thing. I don't know. These flying, there's flying discs. So that's what we see with the woman in the wheelchair. So I don't know if that's a part of the story. Heavy on atmosphere here. saving time. I guess he's horseback, but we can see enough of the horseback. I believe some of this too is reproduction. You can sometimes lose the pop of like hues with the reproduction of work. Some things are darker, some things are brighter. Whenever you reproduce, you bring a consistent value to the reproduction. Meaning, like, just for example, like, like this trading card of mine, when this gets reproduced, it's almost like a shaded layer that goes over your piece, because the original for this is way more brighter than the reproduction. Even though things are high quality, we lose a lot with reproductions. But this is two fantastic hands here. And look at this one. This like pink shadow here. We have the almost like a salmon colored highlight that he just blends so well. Again, like great hands, great faces. He has a way of doing cheekbones, right? Like, he's really good with these cheekbones also. This might be the worst one, but what I was saying earlier about the reproduction, we want to say that I think these yellow highlights, some of these yellow highlights here, are supposed to pop a lot more, and I think these two flames are supposed to pop a lot more. This is the closest to painting to the edge that we see him do, and I kind of wish there was like a little bit more atmosphere in this. We can be better with the drapes here, but even like the shingles on the roof are well thought out. Again, fantastic hands, fantastic cheekbones. Like, again, the cheekbones is one of your ID marks of when we're rotating the head, we pinpoint how we're looking at the head because of the cheeks. We're looking at it from the front or from the side, so on and so forth. But this one's incredible. It's like I guess it's like a newsstand. But, we have the light from the newsstand coming in, highlighting the figure, and rimming the male and female here. I mean, like, look at the detail for the rooms above. And look, even here, see, we see like there's an alley between the building and here. Really strong piece here. You can draw rocks. Anyone that illustrates, rocks are tough and wrinkles are tough, but he, again, nails the wrinkles. A lot of the wrinkles here, they look like marks of vestry, even like the tattered arm here. They look like marks of vestry to me, and they look like Clayton Crane. And naked girl eating a frog thing. Fantastic highlights. Like, he's so subtle with these highlights sometimes, where you could even here see how that just the light from on the other end from behind the trees, probably like peeking through the canopy of the treetops, just hits that ear, a little bit of that shoulder, a little bit of those lats. Again, fantastic wrinkles. Look at this hair. Cheekbone, cheekbone, cheekbone. Here, I like the wrinkles that's stretching across the chest. Even this guy here with the collar. This is a piece worth studying in portraits alone. It really is. Again, but I don't know who these characters are. And that's it. I know in this size edition of Dark Tower, I know that there's multiple books. I would only assume that there's these editions of Dark Tower, and they all have, right, there has to be, there's 7 or 8 books to Dark Tower. This has to be a series where all 8 of them have Bernie Wrightson illustrations. This is, I didn't know exactly what this was going to do, but even just doing this video, This is opening up a little bit of a can of worms. I'm just sorry. I'm just noticing the blue atmosphere here coming in through the tree line that kind of blends right into the shadowing of the houses here, of the farmhouses. I would only assume there's 8 volumes of this edition of Dark Tower, and all 8 are illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. So it's a Bernie Wrightson deep dive. I want to get more of his Stephen King stuff. I think I'm going to just read this. I'm going to skip book 1. I'm just going to skip book 1 and read book 5. Who cares? Let's do it.